Welcome to the Love Story with Lisa channel. Today, we're bringing you a brand new story. The Janitor in the Horror Game, Searching for Mama W.U. This is the short novel The Janitor in the Horror Game, Part 1. Let me introduce myself. I am the only janitor in the entire horror game. After each round ends, I step inside the instances to clean up, gathering the scattered remains of bodies left behind. The NPCs who hack and slaughter throughout the various instances become exceedingly polite to me once their shifts are over. Without me, their living space would be no different from a cesspit. One day, I took leave. They went insane. They ran everywhere searching for me, grabbing anyone they saw and demanding, "Did you kidnap Mama Wu? Give Mama Wu back to me." In the end, all the players lost their minds as well and set off together to search for Mama Wu. That concludes the introduction. Now, please listen to the story. I am Maya Wu, the sole janitor in the horror game. During my interview, the overseer, radiating the imposing aura of a domineering CEO, waved his hand grandly and declared, "From now on, every corner of this game will be under your responsibility." Before I could even say thank you, or decline, my gaze locked onto the recruitment contract beside him. And the 42 sculpted abdominal muscles across his torso. Base salary, 10,000 a month, additional pay per instance, 1,000 for each completed cleanup. I made my decision instantly. Such exhausting yet leisurely work should naturally fall to me. Labor is glorious, the overseer said. To prevent the NPCs from harassing you, I shall grant you 4 divine artifacts, capable of executing treacherous lords above and purging corrupt ministers below. And thus, I received my 4 sacred treasures, a broom, a dustpan, a mop, and a cleaning cloth. I gave a faint smile. "Thank you for the reward, overseer." 28 of his heads nodded in satisfaction. 3 others remained cold and said, "Go. I shall await your performance. After all, you were chosen the moment I laid eyes on you." He looked like a pale version of the war god Xingtian, stacked with heads, with only a single eye embedded in the center of his chest, squeezed tightly between enormous pectoral muscles. I glanced at his eye, then at his many mouths. Note: that refers to the quantity of faces. Keeping my expression unchanged, I said, "Then I'll go start working." He replied, "There's no need to rush. Tomorrow is Saturday. You can come Tuesday. Our instances only open on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You'll clean on Tuesday and Thursday." Was I stupid? My pay was calculated per instance. Work less, earn less. I gave an awkward smile and turned, stepping into the instance. Faintly, I heard him murmur with satisfaction, "So diligent. But if not for poverty, who would choose diligence?" As I was thinking, I had already arrived at the first instance, House of Cards. The rules of the House of Cards: once you begin playing, you must not hold the ghost card. If the ghost card remains in your hand for more than 3 turns, you will be killed. 2 blank cards may substitute for an X card. 3 big cards will bring misfortune. Red cards will bring good luck. I looked at the large rule board and wiped it with my cloth. Far too dirty. Some of the words were barely legible. "What are you doing?" A cold voice sounded behind me. "Do you know I deliberately smudged that to confuse the players? Are you seeking death? Tearing cards apart isn't nearly as enjoyable." When he saw the 4 divine artifacts in my hands, he forced out a laugh. His Joker-painted face showed no trace of humor. I looked at him. "You're not happy, are you?" "What?" He pretended not to understand. "Your smile is forced. Just like mine. If you don't want me to clean, I can leave." I understood him very well. I used to bow and scrape before my superiors. Only after being laid off did I start looking for work elsewhere. Seeing him still struggling to find words, I picked up my tools and prepared to leave. He stopped me. Actually, you can clean a little. Although I stuff the people I kill into the cards, there are still some who kill each other. He led me onward. Look at this wall. It used to be white. Now it's stained with blood. Help me clean it. I nodded and carefully wiped the surface. The walls here were also made of cards. Too much water or too much force would wrinkle or tear them. He stared intently at my cloth. Only after I finished cleaning did he let out a breath of relief. Thank you. I've always worried about this deck. It was left to me by my father. I looked at him. He continued, reminiscing. He was a third-rate magician. And also a clown. When I was young, I despised him. But when I grew up, I realized he was a great father. But I never had the chance to say those words to him myself. After all, I'm already dead. Just an NPC now. I asked, would you like me to pass a message for you? I can return to the real world. His eyes lit up instantly, then he became flustered. Come next time. I still need to think about what I should say to him. He pushed me gently toward the door. I watched as the door of the house of cards closed. The overseer raised an eyebrow. Do you know what rating the first instance you cleaned received? He dragged out his words like a talent show coach building suspense. Perfect score. What's the reward for a perfect score? I asked. Genuinely expectant. There is no reward. The reward is a flying kiss from me. He winked his single eye. Thank you, but no need. I showed no reaction and stepped into the next instance. Having a boss like that was, in its own way, a blessing. Instance, Chamber of Nine Vale. The people refused to believe that a wise and virtuous king had turned into a tyrant, so they blamed the fox spirit by his side. Yet even after they killed Nine Vale, the dynasty did not improve in the slightest. Now, what were these so-called enlightened people to do? The moment I stepped inside, pavilions and terraces lay blanketed in white snow. I looked at the ordinary broom in my hand. Sweeping snow was my specialty, but using this to clear such heavy snow seemed somewhat difficult. In the end, I decided to create a miracle through sheer effort. Hey! You just swept over my tail. I looked around and finally saw a bald tail wriggling in the snow. I'm sorry. I didn't know your tail was in there. It asked, who are you? It's not even player entry time. I'm the new janitor. Janitor? It sounded surprised. At that moment, the snowman in the distance shifted. A fox head pushed out from inside, its large eyes sparkling. Since when did our game get a janitor? How strange. To convince it, I stepped forward and showed my work badge. It leaned in close, peering at it. I can't read. Human writing is too complicated for me. I'm sorry. It blinked. You didn't do anything wrong. Why do you keep apologizing? Maybe. It's a habit, I said after thinking for a moment. Sometimes I worry I might hurt others. Its ears twitched lightly. It stepped fully out of the snowman, revealing a furry head and a lower body of exposed flesh and blood. I never worry about that. I looked at its body. I was skinned, it said casually. I got my revenge. I dragged them into the instance and tortured them properly. That must have hurt, I said, of course. It nodded. But it doesn't hurt anymore. Enough about me. Tell me about you. Me. I thought for a moment. My life is plain as water. Nothing worth mentioning. It stepped closer. 9 tails stretched out from the snow. I'm curious. Aren't you afraid? Why should I be? All the players who see me run in terror. They call me ugly, disgusting, terrifying. I thought for a moment, maybe because I liked horror movies when I was little. My classmates covered their walls with posters of pop stars. I covered mine with monsters, ghosts, demons. I hoped they would step out of the pictures and beat up the people who bullied me. It nodded. Did your wish come true? Did they step out? I shook my head. They didn't. But my teacher dealt with them. That's wonderful, it said. In my life as a fox, I don't think I've ever received help. I sat down and looked at it. Do you need help? It thought for a while. Help me build snowmen. Every time the instance opens, they're destroyed. But I truly like these pure white things. So we spent the entire day building snowmen, different kinds, all shapes and sizes. I breathed out warm air, feeling a trace of exhaustion rise within me, but also happiness. All right, it said at last. Almost done. One final favor, bury me in the snow. I want to sleep. As I covered it with snow, it said softly, goodbye. I'll see you next time, Miss Janitor. When I stepped out of the instance, the overseer was still seated at his desk. This time, it seems you didn't clean anything. I nodded. You don't have to calculate wages for me. He looked at me for a moment. I appreciate your honesty. So I've decided to reward you. A flying kiss, right? Really, there's no need. He grinned. Correct. You guessed it. Next time I'll reward something else. Now go home. It's 5 p.m. in the real world. Official off-work time is 4:30. Overtime is strictly forbidden here. He clapped his hands, the surroundings blurred. I returned to reality, decisive. Absolute. Not even the slightest chance for overtime. Helpless, I went home. Grandma was sitting at the doorway. Stammering slightly, she asked, "TTZU. Did you find a job?" I stepped close and spoke into her ear. "Grandma, I did." Her hearing wasn't good. I had to lean in close. "That's good. That's good," she repeated twice, as though a heavy stone had finally been lifted from her heart. I knew it. Finding work wouldn't be hard for you. You're a university graduate. With such education, finding a job is easy. She talked for a long while before stopping. I smiled, went inside, greeted Mama Wu, had dinner, and rested. On Monday, I took my 4 divine artifacts once more and entered the hidden space behind the instances. The overseer sat with his fingers interlaced, watching me. Don't rush into the ongoing instance. He tapped the chair beside him. Sit. Watch the live stream for a while. I looked up at the countless floating screens. In the house of cards, a player held the ghost card, sweating profusely. In the 9 Veil instance, players were discussing how to break the situation. That instance has just ended. If you don't mind, you can enter now. He pointed to a spot. I looked. Fresh blood. Severed limbs. A monster grinning ferociously. When I pushed the door open, a monster was squatting on a chair. On the floor spread a thick, bright red pool of blood, slick and sticky. Fragments of limbs and bodies were scattered everywhere. Even a professional corpse collector might not be able to reconstruct the original scene from what lay before my eyes. It was like hell, and this was only the second floor of the castle. Leaning against the railing, I looked down below. The sight felt like I had stepped straight into a Junji Ito manga for the first time. I muttered to myself, this is going to be hard to clean. I had known from the beginning that this 1,000 salary was not going to be easy money. I put on my mask, slipped on gloves, picked up the grabber tool, and began gathering the scattered limbs into a large trash bin. The monster watched me start cleaning on my own and spoke up, "Auntie, I've noticed you for a long time. How can you start cleaning without the master's permission?" I looked into its ferocious eyes and asked, "Do you need cleaning?" "Preferably yes," it nodded eagerly. "That way I can avoid the heavy labor." It nodded so hard its head nearly shook loose. "Auntie, I've been waiting for the day you'd come for so long." The corner of my mouth twitched twice. "My surname is Wu. You can call me." Before I could finish, it grabbed my rubber-gloved hands so tightly it almost pulled the gloves off. Its eyes shimmered with tears. "Mama Wu. You have no idea how I survived before you came. Honestly, I used to live on the first floor. Now I'm practically about to move onto the roof. It's too filthy. Forget it." It could call me whatever it liked. Looking at its needle-sharp teeth, I said, "Then I'll start cleaning." It burst into tears, snot and all. Anyone who didn't know better would think I had done something terrible to it. It nodded vigorously. "Please help me, Mama Wu." So I dragged the trash bin and began collecting limbs. Halfway through, the bin became unbelievably heavy. The wheels were stained red and barely turned. "Mama Wu, let me help." It pushed the bin from behind. I felt that if I pulled even a little longer, my arms would cramp on the spot. After making one full round of the second floor, my arms could no longer lift. The grabber trembled in my hand. I looked at it. "I haven't asked your name yet." It grinned. "Just call me Patch." My full name is Leonardo DiCaprio. I ignored the joke and nodded. "Patch, Mama Wu might have to leave early today." I had thought cleaning would be tiring, but I hadn't expected this level of exhaustion. If I didn't leave soon, my hands might very well die here. "Is that so?" It scratched its head in disappointment. Its sharp claws scraped against its scalp with a metallic clang, as if scratching iron. "I'll come back tomorrow," I said. Its face lit up. If an ordinary person saw that savage grin, they would have nightmares all night. "Then I'll escort you." It lifted the large trash bin and walked me to the door. "Mama Wu, you must come back tomorrow." "Of course. A promise made cannot be taken back." I turned, pulled the trash bin, and left the instance. The overseer said, "You'll only be paid when you completely clean an instance." I looked at him. "That's only natural." He raised a brow. "Then do you still want to continue this instance?" "The workload varies greatly between instances. I won't factor difficulty into the calculation. With the same effort, you could have cleaned 3 other instances already. A smart person would know which choice is correct." I dragged the trash bin toward the dump site. "Then just treat me as a fool." His hearty laughter echoed behind me, as if he had heard a particularly amusing joke, or encountered something genuinely delightful. After dumping the limbs into the landfill, I noticed the warning sign at the entrance. It was covered in red exclamation marks. Warning: the landfill may only be entered between 1300 hours and 1400 hours daily. At all other times, consequences are at your own risk. At the entrance, 6 clocks ticked simultaneously, seemingly to prevent any discrepancy. I entered at 13:22 and exited at 13:47. Waste classification here was extremely strict. Everything had to be placed in designated areas. Otherwise, strange things would happen. My movements still weren't agile enough. After thinking for a moment, I returned to the main hall. The overseer was still watching the live streams. 31 heads observed simultaneously. I couldn't help wondering whether the eye on his chest was merely decorative. Otherwise, how could he see anything? You're back? He asked habitually. I hesitated briefly. Overseer. Could I receive an advance on my salary? Before I could explain why, he asked, how much do you need? 3,000. I don't need to know what you'll use it for. The money will be transferred to your account immediately. He spoke casually, then suddenly, he focused. Follow me. A new instance is about to be born. On the right wall of the main hall, a door flickered in and out of existence, flashing continuously. The overseer stood there like a father outside a delivery room, his expression grave. Influenced by his mood, I grew tense as well. When the entrance door finally stabilized and became solid, his brows knitted tightly. I looked at him. Overseer. You don't seem very happy. As the mastermind behind this horror game, the addition of a new instance should have been good news. He looked at me. During your interactions with the NPCs, you must have noticed. Their pasts were not pleasant. The birth of an instance carries pain. If the birth of a human child represents hope, then the birth of an instance represents despair. If it were you, could you feel happy? Immediately, I thought of Nine Vale. It had spoken so casually about being skinned alive, yet the true pain was something only it could understand. If it were me, I said softly, I wouldn't be happy either. I would only hope that this world holds less suffering and more joy. When the entrance door finally stabilized, the overseer turned the handle. Come. Let's go inside and take a look. I followed him through. It was pitch dark. Wind and sand howled across the ground. After walking a few steps forward, an orphanage emerged before us. 2 cats, one black, one white, stood side by side atop the wall. The black cat asked, "Who are you?" The white cat meowed, "Meow, meow, meow." The overseer was about to step forward when the black cat warned sharply, "Stop. Don't come any closer." The white cat, meow meow, meow meow. The overseer halted. "We are your family," he said. "Children, welcome to the horror game. You will become the bosses guarding this instance and oversee its operation. I will transmit the relevant information later. We came today to meet you and get acquainted." The black cat narrowed its eyes. "We don't need a family. Please leave." The white cat continued meowing. The black cat turned to it. "That's enough, you silly cat. Stop translating at the same time. They understand." The white cat stopped, looking dejected. The black cat faced us again. "In any case, this place does not welcome you." I looked at the overseer. "Should we leave? They've already ordered us out." He nodded and said to the 2 cats, "We'll leave immediately. I hope you'll adapt to life here soon." Under the black cat's vigilant gaze, we stepped out. after the door closed, I suddenly felt something brushing against my leg. I looked down. It was the white cat, rubbing against my pant leg. The overseer noticed as well. A remarkable talent, he murmured. The ability to traverse instances. Is that surprising? I asked, startled. Then what have I been doing all this time, going back and forth? The entrance and exit of instances only open when players enter or leave. NPCs cannot depart from their instances. That is a rule established by the former overseer. Even I cannot change it. Therefore, crossing between instances is a special talent. That is why I chose you. So that was it. I had thought my interview performance had moved him. Turns out, fate had already been decided. Even though I was the special one, I still felt a little wounded. The overseer's single eye rotated slowly. It seems this little cat likes you very much. I didn't think I was that attractive to cats. After a moment's thought, I took some snacks out of my pocket. The white cat's eyes lit up instantly. It's just hungry, I said. I tore open the packaging and handed it over. It bit down on the snack, then ran to the door and began scratching. I was surprised. It wants to bring it back to the black cat? I opened the door. The white cat leapt through and vanished. The overseer said, "It's rare for an instance to have two NPCs. Their relationship must be very close." I silently guessed they were siblings. I was gravely mistaken. Inside the instance, the white cat carried the food to the black cat. The black cat flicked its tail. "You eat it. I've always been the one feeding you. But here, I can't anymore. You shouldn't have followed me here. I wasn't a good owner." The white cat meowed twice and leaned against it. The black cat sighed. Why is it that even after turning into a cat, I still can't understand what you're saying? I knew none of this. When the House of Cards instance ended its live stream, I knocked and pushed the door open. I didn't see Jester Grimm's face, only heard his voice. "Hello. Please take the deck of cards on the table and deliver it to my father. Please, whatever you do, don't open it. He lives at the small theater on Joy Street. He's quite old now. He has a few burn scars on his body. His name is Fangia." "I understand. I'll deliver it this afternoon." "Thank you. Truly." I glanced around but couldn't find where he was hiding, even more timid than I used to be. "Then I'll go." "All right. Goodbye." I picked up the deck and stepped outside. Suddenly, the deck trembled. Jester Grimm was ejected from it, landing awkwardly on the ground. He forced a smile. I knew it wouldn't work. "You were hiding inside the deck just now?" He lowered his head. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to deceive you, Miss Janitor. I just wanted so badly to see him. So I came up with that foolish trick. I'm sorry. Truly sorry." I walked closer. "You don't need to apologize. You didn't harm me in any way. I understand you." When I sat beside my father in the intensive care unit, I cried more times than I can count. The instance doesn't allow electronic devices. I'll draw everything about your father for you, so you can see. He stared at me in disbelief. "Really?" I nodded. "Really? I'm not very good at drawing, but I can ask someone else." He stood up slowly. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to repay you. Your words are enough. I can feel your sincerity. Thinking of what the overseer had said about the black cat, I added gently, "We're family, aren't we?" His eyes turned red and moist. "Yes. We're family. The House of Cards will always welcome you." I smiled, took the deck, and stepped out. The $3,000 I had advanced from the overseer was originally meant for a year-long gym membership to improve my strength. That plan was now postponed. After leaving the backstage space of the horror game, I sent a message to my high school best friend. "How much do you charge for illustrations?" She replied, "Depends. Black and white is $200 per piece. Color is more." "What about portraits?" She said that after graduating from university, she stopped drawing portraits. Back then, she had only sketched on the streets. I asked, "How much did you charge for a portrait in those days?" She thought for a moment, then said, "About 20 or 30. After we settled on a price through messages. She was already sitting in a taxi. I texted her, "You can come downstairs now." "I'll be there in 2 minutes. 10 minutes later, seated inside her Cadillac, we headed toward Joy Street. She shot me a sideways glance. "Do you know? Even when my boyfriend comes to see me, he has to notify me half an hour in advance." Sitting in the passenger seat, I looked at her. "Got it, Miss Lin. This is the second time you've repeated that." "I'll treat you to milk tea," Lin Weiyun said. "This time, milk tea won't smooth things over." She kept her eyes on the road. "I'm getting married next month. Be my bridesmaid." I turned to her, delighted. "You too are getting married?" She couldn't hide the smile on her lips. We've met each other's parents. Both sides are very satisfied." I smiled. "No problem. I'll be your bridesmaid." She nodded, then suddenly asked, "I heard your boss fired you because you took too much time off to take care of a family member. Is that true?" I looked at her. "How do you know?" "So it really happened?" She frowned. "What a terrible boss. If things don't work out, come work with me. I can't guarantee anything else, but I can guarantee you won't go hungry." "I've already found a new job," I said. "Really? What kind of job?" "Helping clean for a wealthy family." I still couldn't reveal anything about the horror game. She frowned again. "What are the conditions like?" "You're not being scammed, are you?" "It pays over 10,000 a month. The work's pretty easy." "Just be careful," Lin Weiyun said. "Every industry is struggling right now. A stable job is already a blessing." "But why did you drag me 50 kilometers out to Joy Street this time?" I looked at her. "Like I told you on WeChat before, draw the portrait smoothly. It's best if it looks like an animated film." After hearing my request, she fell silent for a moment. "Do you think I can produce an Oscar-winning animated short?" I thought about it. "Probably not." While driving, she said, "You think too highly of me. You even said, probably." "No to do. I think you should just record a video. I'll find someone to help you draw it." "What's your budget?" I pressed my lips together. 3,000. She nodded. "Within a 3,000 budget, I'll find you the best person possible. How's that?" I smiled. "Deal." Chatting like that, we arrived at Joy Street. Dusk was settling in. The small theater on Joy Street lit up its marquee lights. For more than 30 years, the magician had performed his opening act here. Beautiful young lady, please draw any card. Don't let me see it. Mark it, then place it back into the deck. I randomly drew a card and used a marker to write the letter W on it. He collected the card. Now, may I have another volunteer to shuffle the deck? After the deck had been shuffled several times, the magician took it back. I'll shuffle once more. When he finished, he rolled up his sleeve and flipped over the top card. Everyone, is this the one? Thunderous applause erupted from the audience. The next act was a comedy skit. When the magician returned backstage, Lin Wei-yun and I followed. I stepped closer to him. Mr. Fan, you once performed a magic trick for me. Now, I'd like to perform one for you. May I? Lin Wei-yun held up her phone, recording. Fan just smiled. Of course. I took out the Joker deck. The trick I want to perform is inside this box. Would you open it? He smiled gently and opened the card case. The smile vanished instantly. That's impossible. Where did you get this? Do you believe in other worlds? I asked. No, this, I continued, is a letter from another world. Fanja's lips trembled. He read it word by word, carefully. His eyes slowly reddened. As a magician, I know everything can be fake, he said hoarsely. But at this moment, I hope this is real. I looked at him. It is real, Mr. Fan. Other than that person, I don't think anyone else could have said those words to you. He wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes. My poor child. Even now, I still can't accept its death. Could you help me deliver a message to it? I straightened. Please, go ahead. Later, in the car, Lin Wei-yun asked, what exactly did you show him that made him so sad? I thought for a moment. A letter. Since the art album was still being drawn, I didn't hurry back to the house of cards. Instead, I bought some cat food and knocked on the door of the black and white cat's instance. The door opened. The white cat poked its head out and looked at me, smiling. I placed the food in front of the door. This is for you. It looked at me and meowed. The two syllables might have meant thank you. No need to thank me. I'll bring more next time. It meowed again. This time, I couldn't guess what it meant. I waved goodbye with a smile and gently closed the door. The overseer sat at his desk and said, using your own money to buy things for them doesn't seem like a wise choice. I looked at him. Can I reimburse the expenses? All 31 of his heads shook in unison. No, his attitude was far too firm. I sighed, picked up my tools, and headed once more to the castle instance. I hadn't forgotten that troublesome task. Patch was standing atop the chandelier hanging from the ceiling, tugging at the flower petals. Mama Wu will come. Mama Wu won't come. Mama Wu will come. I stared at the leaves and flower petals that had appeared out of nowhere inside the instance and finally couldn't hold it in anymore. Patch. He was as nimble as a monkey. With a few quick leaps, he sprang toward the entrance of the second floor and grinned wickedly. Mama Wu finally came. Honestly, even if he did nothing at all, he already looked like a villain, and thinking about it. To the players, he truly was a villain. This place is dirty enough already, I said. Please don't create more trash for me. I earn money by cleaning instances, not by picking up garbage. Sorry, Mama Wu. He scratched his head. My hands get itchy. I can't control them. I have to do something. I looked at his hands, stitched together piece by piece. Next time, I'll bring you some clay. You can play with that instead. Really? Thank you, Mama Wu. His eyes lit up like a child's. I glanced around. Our goal today is to clean the entire first floor. Okay, Mama Wu. No problem, Mama Wu. He hoisted up a trash can, then jumped down from the railing and turned back to look at me. Mama Wu, come down. The corner of my mouth twitched. I'm human. I use the stairs. By the time I reached the bottom of the staircase, he had vanished. After looking around, I realized he had jumped back up to the second floor. He was covering his nose. It stinks. I can't stand it. It did stink, but did he ever think about who had caused that smell? Apparently not. I really needed to give him a lesson on garbage sorting. After I finished cleaning this place, I would deal with him properly. When I staggered out of the instance, trembling, the overseer glanced at me. Your number of completed cleanings today is still 0. I pushed the trash cans without saying a word and walked straight toward the dump site. The garbage would have to wait until tomorrow. 5 large trash bins were already piled full. Even wearing 3 layers of masks, I couldn't endure it. I rushed into the restroom and vomited violently. I'm not afraid of monsters. I'm not afraid of corpses. But this smell, I truly couldn't bear it. After returning home, I showered for 2 full hours. On Wednesday, I slept the entire day. It wasn't until Thursday that I brought 4 artifacts, a pile of cat food, and a bucket of modeling clay I had promised Patch, and logged back into the game. When I reached the door of the cat's instance, I knocked, unexpectedly. It was the black cat who appeared this time. He looked at me. I don't eat cat food. Bring me beef next time. With that, he took the items in his mouth and walked away. I closed the door. What a rude cat. The overseer raised an eyebrow. Why close the door before speaking? If you say it like that, it won't hear you. There are some things, he continued, that if you don't say, they may never understand. Only when you say them will they know they should thank you. I thought for a moment. Next time, I'll say it. He nodded in satisfaction. Although you have no achievements this week, I still have high expectations for you. I took a deep breath. Please don't say things that make my heart ache. I had to continue cleaning, today. I would definitely finish the ancient castle instance. When I entered the ancient castle, Patch was lying on the ground with his eyes closed, chanting as if reciting a spell. Mama Wu, hurry and come. Mama Wu, hurry and come. I looked at the scattered, excess limbs lying around and rubbed my temples. The instances only opened on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. How could I forget that? I lightly kicked him. He woke up instantly, eyes shining. Mama Wu. I missed you so much. You finally came. I placed a trash can in front of him. From now on, all extra limbs must go into the trash can. Absolutely no throwing them around. If I see this again, I won't come anymore. His eyes immediately filled with tears. No, Mama Wu. If you don't come, how will I live? I sighed. Get up. Clean with me. After those hellish days of cleaning before, today could only be considered an appetizer. Under careful organization, we finally cleaned the ancient castle thoroughly. A sense of accomplishment surged through me. Patch rolled around on the first floor tiles. This feels amazing. I love the smell of air freshener. He truly was an energetic child. Remember to keep it clean, I told him. Otherwise, I really won't come again. He nodded frantically. Definitely. Definitely. And the clay is outside the door. If your hands get itchy, go play with that. Don't scatter it everywhere. When you're done, put it back in the bucket. Yes, Mama Woo. Watching him continue to roll around on the floor, I shook my head and left the instance with my tools. Congratulations. You've finally completed this difficult task. The overseer raised a thumb. I felt like I was at an award ceremony. Thank you. Without the overseer's support, I wouldn't have made it to today. He shook his head. I never supported this action. With this amount of time, you could have finished 2 instances already. I shot him a look and turned to leave. He added, although I don't approve of this approach, your pioneering spirit is still worthy of encouragement. Congratulations. You are officially a full employee now. Your base salary is increased to $20,000 per month. I jumped up in joy. Thank you, Overseer. You are the kindest, smartest, most knowledgeable person in the entire world. He nodded in satisfaction. Next time, I expect you to add 2 more adjectives. Now, get back to work. I hummed softly as I happily processed the garbage. I even wiped down his desk until it gleamed. With 1 hour left, I entered Ninevale's instance. Ninevale, I've been promoted to a full employee. I shared the good news. She emerged from the snow. Congratulations. But what does becoming a full employee mean? It means going from an intern to a permanent employee. She shook her head. She still didn't understand. I thought for a moment. How should I explain this? It's like going from a snowflake in the sky to a snowman. Oh! She exclaimed in surprise. That's wonderful. Are we building a snowman today? I asked. Ninevale shook her head. No more snowmen. Mama Woo, tell me about the other instances. I'm very curious. I sat down beside her. All right. Let me tell you about Patch in the ancient castle. He loves rolling around on the ground. And he loves tearing things apart. On Sunday, Lin Wei-yun brought the sketchbook over and handed it to me. Take a look. Are you satisfied? I flipped through a few pages. The strokes were vivid and lifelike. I looked at her. Work this refined. Can it really be done for just 3,000? Don't tell me you secretly added your own money. She laughed. I just added a bit more color. When I get married, just make sure the red envelope is a little thicker. I laughed too. Fine. When the time comes, I'll take the groom's envelope and give it to you. We both burst into laughter. On Monday, the overseer watched the live stream and asked, "Why are you so concerned about the House of Cards instance?" Because I have something important to give him. After the instance ended, I knocked on the door of the House of Cards. From inside, Jester Grimm's voice came. Please wait a moment. I don't think I'm ready yet. I couldn't imagine what his father looked like now. I kept worrying. Had his hair grown whiter? Had his wounds multiplied? I hope you brought good news, he continued softly, but I'm afraid you brought bad news instead. I'm always anxious. Always afraid. Ms. Janitor. I'm useless, aren't I? I understand, I said through the door. But you don't need to worry. Your father is doing well. He looks like he's in good condition. He drew in a deep breath. Come in. I carried the sketchbook inside. The jester looked at me. I handed it to him. He also asked me to pass along a message. Jester Grimm's gaze shifted from the sketchbook back to me. He said he will always love you. The jester opened the sketchbook. After a while, he broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. I went through a rebellious phase. I did so many wrong things. I hated him once. He spoke at length, circling around countless unrelated memories, until finally it all condensed into one sentence: I love him too. Time slips by quietly, always leaving behind a few regrets. I suddenly thought of my own father. Take your time looking, I said gently. I won't disturb you. I turned to leave. Thank you, he called out softly. Ms. Janitor. When I stepped outside, the overseer looked at me. Why do you look so downcast? I leaned against the wall. I was just thinking about a family member who passed away. The overseer, who usually loved to talk, fell silent for once. Would you like me to pour you a drink? I don't drink. I shook my head, picked up my 4 artifacts. I'll go home and talk to my mom. The overseer smiled faintly. That's right. See you tomorrow. If you want to care for someone, don't wait until it's too late. Cherish the people beside you. The next day, I appeared before him full of energy. Overseer. Today I'm back to normal. I swung my broom and mimicked IP Man's hand movements. I'm going to clean 10 places. Oh. So confident. He looked at me with amusement. I lowered the broom. All this time working hasn't been for nothing. I've studied it carefully. Only things that NPCs consider trash are truly trash. For example, in the House of Cards instance, if the NPC doesn't think the smudges on the cards need wiping, then they don't need wiping. He nodded. I didn't expect that, though you seem foolish. You're not actually stupid. Exactly. Everything in an instance revolves around the NPC's preferences. I grinned. After observing carefully, I realized some instances have very easygoing NPCs. Like the zombie instance, the tango instance, and the Azure instance with the birds. The overseer looked slightly surprised. Your observations are sharp. It seems I'll be paying out quite a bit at the end of this month. I'm ready. Just watch me. Brimming with excitement, I grabbed my broom and bucket and rushed into the zombie instance. The burial objects inside were considered trash in its own eyes. But when I carried the trash outside, it all vanished. The overseer smirked. Its burial objects are part of the instance's background. They cannot be taken out. I glared at him. Why didn't you say that earlier? He chuckled. The joy of instances lies in discovery. Impatience never accomplishes great things. And just like that, payday finally arrived. The overseer held a white notebook and pretended to flip through it. Maya Wu. Base salary, 20,000. This month you cleaned 8 instances. Total income, 28,000. You withdrew 3,000 in advance. Remaining, 25,000. Go check your bank account. The transfer has already been made. Yay! Thank you, overseer. I ran around in a circle in excitement, then said, "Overseer, I'd like to request leave." "No need to request leave. Your schedule is flexible." Lin Weiyan's wedding was approaching. She was one of my closest friends. I had to help her prepare. While I was busy with wedding arrangements, in the ancient castle instance, Patch stared at the trash can, now completely full, and frowned. Mama Wu never told me what to do when the trash can is full. So the players inside the instance witnessed a rather bizarre sight. The boss dragged behind him a trash can overflowing with severed arms and legs, wandering from floor to floor with a vicious expression, looking as if he were contemplating how to devour someone. All the players trembled like quails. The game hasn't even reached the final stage. Why has the boss appeared already? Within an instance, aside from the original NPCs present at launch, many minor monsters also spawn. They possess simple thinking, and they are the main operational force of the entire instance. In the instances, except for the final stage or when a taboo trigger was activated, the boss normally would not appear. After several rounds, in the ancient castle instance, Patch sat at the entrance to the second floor. Monday. Mama Wu didn't come. Tuesday. Mama Wu didn't come. Wednesday. Mama Wu still didn't come. Thursday. Friday. On Saturday, he leapt down from upstairs and stared at the new players entering the instance. "Did you kidnap Mama Wu? Give Mama Wu back to me." It wasn't just the ancient castle instance. In the spirit village instance, the rainforest instance, and several others, similar situations began to occur. The player forums exploded overnight. Trending posts flooded the front page. 1. Shock. Instance difficulty skyrockets. Because of a woman. 2. Just one sentence doubled the difficulty level. 3. Boss appears early. Truth behind it is chilling. 4. Veteran players survive multiple times, only by tracking her movements. At that moment, the largest player guild convened an emergency meeting. Guildmaster Rowan spoke first. "Our current clearance speed has slowed drastically. Many new players are stuck in low-level instances. We must solve one issue." He projected a screen. On it was a single, massive question mark. "How do we find this mysterious woman known as Mama Wu?" Vice Guildmaster Elias adjusted his glasses. "The last time we saw this kind of cross-instance linkage, it introduced a special anomaly instance. Players had to collect clues from interconnected instances and piece them together to find a path to survival." Guildmaster Rowan looked at him. "You mean a new special instance is about to appear?" Elias nodded. "That's my conclusion." Rowan rubbed his temples. "All the more reason to find Mama Wu. Once a special instance appears, fate will no longer be in our hands. Think about it, no matter how intelligent a player is, they can never know what's happening outside the instance. That's why the guild exists. To pool everyone's strength. To consolidate resources." He sighed heavily. Chaotic times are coming. While the players trembled in uncertainty, Lin Weiyan's wedding proceeded exactly as planned. Backstage, as we waited, she suddenly asked, "Have you seen the hot searches? A billionaire named Zhou Yi is offering a 1 million reward to find a janitor named Mama Wu." If he hadn't specified it was a game character, I would have thought it was you. Cold sweat broke out on my back. I forced a laugh. The rich really are different. Spending 1 million to find a fictional character. She nodded. Everyone thinks that. Then she quickly changed the topic. "Ziyu, does the back of my wedding dress look crooked?" After the grand wedding, I rushed back to work. "Overseer, something big has happened." My identity is about to be exposed. The overseer pointed calmly at the live stream of the ancient castle instance. You mean exposed like this? I looked at the screen. Patch had one hand dragging a trash can, the other gripping a trembling player soaked in cold sweat. If I can't find Mama Wu, none of you are clearing this instance. The player stammered nervously, We're looking for her. Patch nodded, released the player, and continued dragging the trash can away, muttering to himself, trash cans full. Can't kill. Trash cans full. Can't kill. Play with clay. Play with clay. My head throbbed. After the instance ended, I stormed inside. Are you asking for a beating? Before I could finish, Patch rushed over and clung to my leg, bursting into tears. Mama Wu. I finally found you. Look. I put everything in the trash can. I didn't throw anything around. Please don't stop coming. Flies buzzed around the overflowing trash bin. My heart softened instantly. I rubbed his head. It's Mama Wu's fault. Mama Wu forgot to ask you all for leave. I made a round through several instances. Eventually, the storm surrounding Mama Wu subsided. But because I hadn't paid attention to the schedule, the final instance I was in suddenly activated. A door opened without warning. Preview of the next instance. Blood Moon. The villagers of Old Moon worship the moon. Whenever the blood moon appears, it marks their grand annual ritual. Players must find a way to survive the night of the blood moon. An NPC inside the instance hurriedly handed me a set of clothes. There's no time to get you out. Mama Wu, stay close to me. The players are very dangerous. All right. Looks like I have to roleplay as an NPC this time, a player whispered. Why is that NPC sticking so close to the boss? That must be a key point. We can't let her go. The janitor in the horror game. The janitor accidentally triggers an instance. Introduction. I am the only janitor in the horror game. The NPCs that players fear the most are my closest friends. They were born in pain, yet they never show it. When players enter the game, they must perform their terrifying roles. But when the players are gone, they are simply monsters, nothing more. I felt warmth from these monsters, and I returned that warmth to them. They called me Mama Wu in the friendliest way. When I fell into the blood moon instance, the boss sprouted 1,000 eyes. Anyone who dared harm Mama Wu would die. Now, let me tell you my story. My name is Maya Wu. I am the only janitor in this horror game. The day I stepped eagerly backstage into an instance, the overseer, his 42-pack abs rippling beneath his suit, glanced at me and said flatly, "You're here too early." I gave an awkward laugh. Overseer, I'll try to come even earlier next time. It was already 9:10 a.m. Thinking about it, I did feel slightly guilty about my base salary of $20,000 a month. He shook his head. That's not what I meant. 9:10 is too early to start work. I want to add a new rule. From now on, you are not allowed to clock in before 10 a.m. What? My eyes widened. Previously, he had forbidden overtime and required me to leave before 4:30 p.m. Now he wouldn't even allow me to arrive early? I stared at him. Overseer, you might as well just kill me. If that's the case, when am I supposed to clean the instances? He thought for a moment. Fine. I'll compromise. You may not clock in before 9:30. No. I stood firm. I request to begin work at 8 a.m. All 31 of his heads began shaking in unison. A day begins in the morning. Such precious time, and you wish to waste it working? I cannot accept this behavior. Normally, when all 31 heads shook at once, it meant negotiations were over. I sighed, picked up my 4 sacred cleaning tools, and prepared to enter the instance. The overseer's voice drifted from behind me. Why not try bargaining a little harder? I turned back, hopeful. Could we make it 8 o'clock? He shook his head again. No. But we can change it to 9 o'clock. Yes. I grabbed my broom and spun in a circle across the grand hall in celebration. Overseer, you're the best. Then I paused. Wait. What exactly am I celebrating? In the past, I used to sleep until noon. The overseer looked at me thoughtfully. I think you're about to be assimilated by Patch. Patch was an NPC in the ancient castle instance. He liked hopping and rolling around all day long. I had just finished cleaning his instance last week. Nearly died from exhaustion. But I gave him a trash can, so next time cleaning should be much easier. As for assimilation, well, I suppose I have been influenced a little by that mischievous brat. I changed the subject. Overseer, I admit I exaggerated slightly when I said I cleaned multiple instances in 2 days. But I still think I'm terrifyingly capable. A famous person once said, there aren't many janitors in this world who can rival me. The famous person you're referring to wouldn't happen to be Celine Zhang from the Blood Moon instance, would it? The overseer looked at me strangely. She lies constantly. In every truthful sentence she speaks, there are 10 lies. And in every lie she speaks, there isn't even half a truth. If you believe her, you might as well believe I'm Qin Shi Huang. I frowned and studied him carefully. That you don't really look like Qin Shi Huang. He stared at me in silence for a moment. You should go clean the instance. Blood Moon instance, Celine Zhang stood with her arms crossed, carrying herself like a wandering swordsman. Mama Wu. You finally came. I asked cautiously, today is it Gulong style, or Jin Yong? She shook her head, no. Today it's sweet Xianxia romance. Dominant Mama Wu falls in love with me. The corner of my mouth twitched. I edged toward the door. I just remembered I have something urgent to. Don't go. She spun around to face me, her expression suddenly complicated, like a fly trying to look profound. In a spoiled tone, she pleaded, Mama Wu, act with me for a bit. If that doesn't work, we can switch it to I fall in love with dominant Mama Wu. I only wanted to ask, could someone please explain to me the difference between those two? I looked at her helplessly. Can we change it to something else? She propped her chin on her hand and thought, the more complex roles. I'm afraid you won't be able to handle. It's fine, I said. Even if I can't handle it, that's fine. Something normal will do. She pondered for a moment. All right. Then we'll perform the story where Mama Wu is a sweeping monk, and Celine Zhang is the princess of a fallen kingdom. She immediately slipped into narration mode. After her nation was destroyed, Princess Celine Zhang shaved her head and became a nun to escape her enemies. By chance, she meets Mama Wu, the humble sweeping monk. With Mama Wu's help, she restores her kingdom. She vows to grant Mama Wu the title of Marquis, 1,000 acres of fertile land, thousands of bolts of silk, and countless gold and silver treasures, believing she has repaid her debt. But Mama Wu cares nothing for power. She wishes only to chant scriptures and worship the Buddha. As she spoke, her eyes suddenly reddened with tears. Mama Wu, I gave you everything. Why won't you stay and help me? Wait, I said quickly. Tell me more about the 1,000 acres of land, the silk, and the countless gold and silver. I looked at her very seriously. Who would reject terms like that? I once worked myself to the bone for a salary of 5,000. After 2 years, it barely rose past 6,000. Every day my boss pressured me with PUA tactics. In the end, I was fired anyway, thinking about it now. It's hard to describe. Celine Zhang flapped her arms like a giant goose, her small face wrinkling like a bitter melon. OOC. Mama Wu, you're OOC. I understood. That meant the character had gone out of character. Sorry. I accidentally immersed myself a little too deeply. Let's start over. She adjusted her emotions and returned to the scene. Mama Wu, I will not let you leave. Someone like you, if you cannot serve me, then I will destroy you. I shook my head solemnly. This humble one is merely a sweeping monk. Something felt slightly off. But I continued, benefactor, why must you be so attached? Humph. She let out a snort. You refuse the wine offered in respect and insist on drinking the forfeit wine instead. Guards. Throw Mama Wu into the heavenly prison. What exactly is forfeit wine? I muttered under my breath. I sighed quietly and glanced around. There didn't seem to be anyone else here. Lowering my voice, I asked, so how am I supposed to act next? She whispered back, just listen to my narration and follow along. I nodded. She cleared her throat. Then suddenly put on a shrill, duck-like voice, like a palace eunuch. Disaster. Mama Wu's martial arts are peerless. The guards cannot capture her, they've been beaten to a pulp. Taking the cue, I swung my broom into the air, twirling it like Sun Wukong playing with his golden staff. Celine Zhang immediately shifted into a dramatic expression, 3 parts sorrow, 3 parts helplessness. She staggered backward. Mama Wu, how could you bear to abandon me? At this point, I was fairly certain I had no more lines. Yet she continued, staring into empty air, issue my decree. Assemble 100,000 soldiers. Sweep away all the filth under heaven. I will leave Mama Wu not a single speck of dust to sweep. I shuddered. What a vicious idea. Fortunately, this wasn't real. I leaned closer and whispered, Your Majesty, Celine Zhang. Shouldn't we end this scene now? She nodded. It's about done. The 2 of us acting alone is a bit awkward. We'll continue next time when there are more players. She looked at me regretfully. It's a pity Mama Wu can't play with me. The instance is open. It's too dangerous, I said. I'm just an ordinary person. She nodded slowly. Mama Wu, are you about to leave? Mem. I hummed softly. Soon. I still have other instances to clean. Never in my life had I felt that work hours were so insufficient. She turned her back to me. Go on, Mama Wu. It's fine. I'm very strong. I definitely won't secretly crawl out and turn the world upside down, suffer a nervous breakdown, and cry 3 times like a little rabbit after you leave. What kind of nonsense idiom is that? I stared at her. It's, the cunning rabbit has 3 burrows, not, the rabbit cries 3 times. I added seriously, I think I need to bring you a Xinhua dictionary next time and teach you how to use idioms properly. Her expression changed instantly. It's getting late, Mama Wu. You should go. As for studying, I simply cannot absorb orthodox knowledge. Farewell. She shoved me out the door, bang. The door slammed shut, refusing to study to that extent. Wasn't that a bit excessive? The overseer looked at me. So? Have you found the place that needs cleaning in the blood moon instance? I shook my head. Not yet. He smiled, revealing his forked, serpent-like tongue. Keep trying. There's no need to rush. You haven't been at this job long. Once you grow accustomed to it, your speed will improve. I hope so. I picked up my broom and opened the door to the rainforest instance. The sound of heavy rain rushed into my ears. A leaf extended overhead, shielding me from the downpour. From the tree at the center came a deep voice. Who are you? I'm the janitor of the game, I replied. My name is Maya Wu. A janitor. It stirred gently. A vine coiled around a fruit and held it out to me. Would you like to eat? No, thank you. The fruit retracted. It's been a long time since anyone visited. The last one claimed to be the overseer. I looked up at it. The overseer has been here before? Yes. A very long time ago. What did he say? Let me think. I waited quietly. About 5 minutes later, the tree spoke again. He said the rules would be loosened. The more players who clear the instance, the better. The more players who clear. I repeated. What were the rules before? The rules before. It fell silent again, sinking into thought, it seems. They forced the clearance rate down to the lowest possible level. It continued slowly. There was a margin. I think it was. It's all right, I said gently. No rush. Take your time. Becoming a tree must slow one's thinking. After another pause, it said, the clearance rate used to be 20 to 30%. Now it has been adjusted to 20 to 50%. I remembered that when the black and white cat instance appeared, the overseer had once mentioned a former overseer. Were the previous rules set by him? I asked. No. Not him. The tree seemed to shake its head. A large cascade of water poured down. I remember clearly. It was a ruthless tyrant. His policies changed constantly, only his exploitation of us never did. He adjusted the time ratio, creating a vast gap between the instances and reality. In reality, every half hour, a new instance had to open. That is unimaginable in this era. Now, instances open only on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. The flow of time within them is no longer so extreme. The tree continued. There was once a knife wound on my body. It was from that tyrant. I stepped closer. The leaf above my head moved with me, angling for a better look. I saw no wound. The tree sounded embarrassed. Sorry. I forgot. The wound healed long ago. That must have hurt, I said softly. For it to be healed. Yet not forgotten. I looked around. Is there anywhere here that needs cleaning? Cleaning. It sank into thought again, as though contemplating a question of world-shaking importance. Rain pattered against emerald leaves. The clarity and stillness of the scene were deeply soothing. I remember. There really are some fallen leaves. It instructed me gently, follow the flowers on the ground. The blossoms along the earth swayed and bloomed, forming a path as I walked. The rain gradually ceased. The canopy above shifted aside, everything was vibrant, green. Alive, bursting with growth. In this rainforest, all things competed in brilliance. This place is beautiful, I said. Really? The tree laughed softly. Few have ever praised it like that. Players usually say, "What a damned place." Players face life and death, I replied. Naturally, they lose the mood to appreciate beauty. If they could come here as I do, simply to admire the scenery, they would surely offer sincere praise as well. Really? It asked. I smiled. Of course it's true. It sounded delighted. I've spent a very long time caring for everything here. Actually, whether it's beautiful or not isn't what matters most. What matters is that I can feel life beyond myself. They are full of vitality. They take root here and grow freely. Flowers swayed in the wind, a breeze passed through, stirring the droplets of water. A small stream wound gently across the land. When we reached the stream, it said, "The trash is here." On the riverbank lay a heap of tattered clothes, piled high and chaotic, like a mountain of garbage in a scrapyard. "These will take years to decompose," it said. "They greatly affect the environment here. Could you help me transport them away?" Of course. I thought for a moment before adding, "But this place is far from the entrance. I need to go back and find a small cart." After locating a cart, I began the transport work. First, I threw the clothes across to the other side of the stream. Then I loaded them onto the cart, back and forth, again and again. It said, "My physical form is too far away. I can't help you. I'm truly sorry." "It's fine," I replied. "This is my job. If I had to rely on others to help me, that would be far too weak." Well, except for Patch, by the time I finished packing up the last pile of clothes, it was already 4 in the afternoon. The tree said gently, "You've worked very hard today." It dropped a leaf as large as a palm fan and fanned me. "I hope we'll meet again." I wiped the sweat from my forehead and smiled. "As long as I don't quit this job, we'll be seeing each other often." "That's wonderful," it said happily. "I really enjoy talking with you. Don't worry, I'll remember your name. It's Lu Yu, right?" I stared at it. "Is your memory really that bad?" Patiently, I corrected it. "My name is Maya Wu." "I'm sorry, truly sorry. This time I've remembered. Next time we meet, I definitely won't get it wrong." "It's all right. See you next time." I waved and pulled the cart out of the instance. Silently, I prayed that next time it wouldn't call me Wu Yu or Wordless Wu. The overseer looked at me. "Not bad. You truly finished it within a day." "Of course," I replied. "There aren't many janitors in this world as capable as I am. Choosing me was a huge gain for you." He smiled faintly. "That only proves my vision is sound. It's getting late. Go off work." I looked into his single eye. "Overseer, I have a question." He stepped away from his desk and faced me. "Let me see if I can answer it within my limited time. Why do you hope that more players clear the instances? In my impression, it doesn't seem beneficial to you." He asked instead, "Do you know where the players come from?" I shook my head. No, before becoming players, each of them filled out a wish list. On that list are the things they wish to accomplish. He paused and looked at me. For example, reviving a loved one. My heart skipped violently. Can that truly be achieved? I asked. He seemed to see straight through my thoughts. For you, no. No one can be both a player and a referee. That would be unfair to everyone. Ignoring the rise and fall of my emotions, he continued, depending on the difficulty of the wish, the number of instances each person must clear is different. If someone simply wants to eat a full meal, clearing one instance is enough. If someone wants world peace, they may need to clear 10,000. Does allowing players to pass instances have anything to do with their origins? I asked. It seems we've strayed from the topic, he replied calmly. Let's return to the main point. The souls of players are a form of resource. They come here to fulfill their wishes. Life and death are their own responsibility. Once they step forward, there is no regret. But I do not require too many souls. Or rather, there are already enough. Endless ambition is a poison. I am willing to grant them a broader road. Whether they achieve their wishes depends entirely on themselves. He looked at me. You have your answer. Then he clapped lightly. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like and subscribe to Love Stories with Lisa for more stories. Thank you so much.